I'm like really nervous that I'm not gonna know one for some reason. Nobody cares. Hey Clevver fam, I am Dove Cameron and I'm about to take on Lyric Recall. I am going to pull a bunch of lyrics from a hat and I'm either going to sing them or read them out loud, and I'm going to tell you about a certain time in my life that they remind me of, so this should get interesting. Oh, okay. You could travel the world. Ooh, too high, too high. You could travel the world, but nothing comes close to the Golden Coast. Once you party with us, you'll be falling in love. Oh, oh. California girls were undeniable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Sun's kiss skin so hot, will melt your popsicle. Oh, oh, oh. California Girls by Katy Perry. I think that came out either like the year after or the same year that I moved to California. It was very like emblematic of that time for me when I was like 13 years old. It was one of those like quintessential songs of like late middle school, just about to go into high school times. Okay, this is a classic. This takes me back. Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. That song came out when I was in middle school. And actually, this one is so specific for me, memory-wise. I was in love with a boy named Dane. Like, doesn't he sound like he'd be like hot for a middle schooler with the name like Dane? Dane. And he was beautiful. And I feel like he comes up in every single one of my interviews, and I hope that he sees them because that would be too funny. I don't think I've seen him in like 10 years, but I loved him. And I like sewed him presents like a weird girl. Because I was really into sewing at the time, so I like sewed him things. Like, it's really pure when I think about it, but like because it's me, I'm like, oh god, it's so embarrassing. And I wanted to date him, but he was actually my first kiss, so like I don't know what I'm complaining about, because like he clearly was into me too, but he also was into a girl named Julia Chiato. I hope you're watching this too. I was friends with her. It was like there was a lot of drama in middle school, but she was so beautiful, again, for a middle schooler. And she had like beautiful like caramel hair, and I remember being like, wow, she's so pretty. And she like played sports and was like athletic, and I was like weird and into theater and like drew fake tattoos on myself. These are real. That would be weird if I just drew these on every day. But he was also into Julia. And when that song came out, everyone in our grade was like in love with it. And I specifically remember Dane saying, oh, I love this song because it fits Julia's name so perfectly. And he'd go, hey there, Julia. And I could not compete. I remember hating this song when I was that age because of that. And I was like, because my real name's Chloe, so I'd be like, hey there, Chloe. Hey there, Chloe. Like, it just doesn't quite the same. Moving on. Down at the New Amsterdam, staring at this yellow hair girl. Mr. Jones starts up a conversation with a black hair. Flamenco dance, you know she dances while his father plays guitar. She's suddenly beautiful. That song to me, well, it came out I think before I was born, like in the early 90s, but I grew up watching every 90s film and listening to all the 90s music, so I feel like that just like takes me back to my earliest memories. Like every bar scene in every movie, I feel like for a long time was like that like opening guitar lick and then like sha la 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 la, yeah. So good. Okay, my voice is in such bad shape right now. They came from way far out in outer space. She's hot and missing, so they landed on her face. She's got cooties. That song reminds me of a couple of years ago when we did Hairspray Live. I feel like I have like rushes of fear and adrenaline because there's nothing quite like the experience of performing live only once for an audience of the entire world to then have it be forever immortalized on camera if you it up. But it was also like the time of my life. It was just that was my one song, so I was like, you know, even if I do well on the rest of the show, like that's like the only time that I have a solo. So I knew that if I messed that up, like I would never hear the end of it. But there's also something really freeing about that, because when you know that like all of those things are happening at once and like there's no other situation in the world like that, you can almost like kind of let go more, because it's like you've prepared so much up until this point, so you just have to trust that you've done the work and that it's gonna work out in your favor, and I think you perform better with that kind of pressure. At least I do. I perform better with that kind of pressure. They say I'm trouble, they say I'm bad, they say I'm evil, and that makes me glad. That song is the very first song that I ever heard in relation to Descendants when I was like 17 years old or something. And it reminds me of being in like season 1 or season 2 of Liv and Maddie and hearing them send us the demo of that song and being like, how are we gonna sing and dance to dubstep, like softcore dubstep? And we did it. But it reminds me of also like being in Vancouver when I was like, I don't know, God, 17. Really in really heavy leather with like some of my favorite people ever. Just like being babies, being kids, and working on this strange pretend world. Oh God, I don't like know this really well though, which is stupid because it's the most recent one. Okay. You probably think that you are better now. You only say that cause I'm not around. You know I never meant to lay you down. Would've give you anything, would've give you everything. Guys, I knew every single one of those. Doesn't matter, the two of them were my own songs. Thank you so much, Clevver, for watching me take on Lyric Recall. I hope that some of my stories or anecdotes entertains you or you could relate. Don't forget to check out my brand new single, We Belong, out this Friday, July 24th. I love you guys.
Thank you so much, Dove, for taking the time to chill with Clevver music and take on Lyric Recall. We loved getting to know more about your favorite memories. And for more Dove camera news, click right over here for another Clevver video. I'm your host, Sussan Mourad. I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.